Right. I'm here with Lars Christensen at Camp Alphaville and Lorcan Rosh Kelly. And Lars, you just wrote something about Greece. It was sort of controversial. Lorcan disagrees with you, but why don't you tell us first what you think would happen if Greece left the Euro?
Exactly what I just said about it.
Yes.
It sounds like a thundering pile of shite to me.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the intro. All right, Lars,
tell
us
what we have here is that we have a yearly tradition here that we have to have an argument, and that's because we genuinely disagree. Because my Irish friend doesn't think the monetary policy means anything. The point is that Greece has been in a 7-year monetary strangulation, and it's continuing to this day. It's just gotten a lot worse, and obviously, therefore, the next couple of months we're going to have a massive contraction in Greek GDP. Once they leave, the monetary strangulation stops. Obviously, they're still in deep shit, and the structures of the economy is pretty bad. But this is the Argentine scenario playing out. Bad in the next couple of quarters, then dramatically good 3 years ahead. Everybody will talk about the Greek success story in 3 years. A perfect finance minister. I don't know who he will be. But in 10 years, we will be back to 20-30% inflation because nothing happens in the structural side. But the interval between the next 2 years and 10 years will be quite good.
So basic J-curve story. Lorcan, why is this I forget what you call it?
Wonderful wishful thinking from a Danish friend there. I think, okay, just to hit off the easy ones where you're wrong, first of all. If devaluation worked for Greece, Greece would be the richest country in the world. Greece devalued in the 70s, Greece devalued in the 80s, Greece devalued just before they joined the Euro. And yet, how much bigger did the GDP get? Oh no, they had to cheat their debt-GDP ratio to get into the Euro in 1989. So, devaluations don't work for Greece. Your obvious argument you're using here is Argentina in 2002 for saying devaluation works. The reason it worked for Argentina was because in the short term they had a massive commodity boom. What commodities did Greece have? You're thinking of some other country that you want Greece to be, not the country that Greece is, which, unfortunately, the country, its only problem is structural. And the only way to address this problem is through structural reform. Which, if you say, we're going to ban our currency and introduce a new currency, you take the pressure off the structural reform, which is exactly what, for all their sins, and they have many sins, the Troika is trying to achieve.
Okay, you each get a response.
I think the point here is that monetary stimulus in the present situation is not about export. And that what happened in Argentina was in fact not exports. It was a significant pickup in investment and private consumption after a couple of quarters after leaving the
There was a big bump in like soybean exports.
Absolutely,
I mean, that
early
brought them
on.
hard
But
currency.
if you look at it, 1 year into the leaving the currency board, they were growing based on domestic demand rather than exports. Consult my paper on that. There is a domestic story here. Obviously, Greece is horribly politically, structurally, institutionally, as is Argentina. I didn't say that they will be saved from all the horrible structural problems, the political problems, because they are indeed terrible. But if you have terrible political institutions, bad structures, what you want to do is not having a pegged exchange rate to somebody who has better structures. You want to have a floating exchange rate, exactly as Turkey. Turkey has had one political crisis, rumors of military coups, and at the moment a kind of hung parliament situation, no real government in place still. And they're doing relatively well because they have allowed their currency to fluctuate freely.
Okay, final response.
So your arguments are based on the idea that Argentina is the way you want to be, but because you don't have anything to export, Turkey is where you want to be. And you're going to sell that to the Greeks? That's me finished.
All right.
I don't
Thanks,
think
gents.
I'm not going to sell anything to the Greeks. You know, the EU and the Greek government together just brought this upon the Greek people.
All right, guys. Much appreciated. You're both gentlemen.
We'll see you again next year.
Or something. All right. Camp Alphaville, Lars versus Lorcan, an annual tradition. It shall continue. It will continue.